March 9th, 1966. It's the quarterfinal of the European Cup between Benfica and Manchester United at the Estádio da Luz in Lisbon. A 19-year-old phenom from Northern Ireland has just scored 2 goals to clinch a win for United over the previous year's second-place team. Upon arriving back in England, the mop-top teenager was photographed wearing a sombrero. The photo was shown in the paper with the headline El Beetle. His name is George Best, and he is about to become one of the greatest cautionary tales in the history of the sport. Four years earlier, Manchester United scout Bob Bishop was in Belfast looking for young talent. In a telegram to United's manager Matt Busby about his findings, Bishop wrote, "I think we found you a genius." That genius was 15-year-old George Best. After 2 days in Manchester, a homesick Best went back to Northern Ireland but soon returned and excelled at a youth level. He made his professional debut at 17, and by the end of the 1965 campaign, United had won a league title. Its first since the 1958 Munich air disaster, which saw 23 fatalities, including 8 players. Best had scored 14 goals during the season and quickly became a fan favorite. When he first arrived in Manchester, Best was a shy teenager who spent most of his time in snooker halls. But by the mid-60s, he had become a long-haired playboy who lived an extravagant lifestyle. While he was not the first athlete to live a life of excess, he was one of the first to do so when the paparazzi and tabloid papers were rampant in Europe. Best had the world at his feet, and for the first time, every camera was there to document it. In regards to his lifestyle, Best famously said, "In 1969, I gave up women and alcohol. It was the worst 20 minutes of my life." May 29, 1968, Wembley Stadium. The site of the 1968 European Cup between Manchester United and Benfica. At the end of regulation, the match is tied 1-1 and headed into extra time. 3 minutes in, George Best works his way past Benfica's defenders and finally the keeper to tap in the go-ahead goal for United. By the end of extra time, they would score 2 more goals and secure their first European Cup for an English side. After this, Best goes on to win the 1968 Ballon d'Or as Europe's best player. At just 22, he has won 2 league titles, a European Cup, and is recognized as Europe's greatest player. Up until 1972, Best led Manchester United in scoring for 6 consecutive seasons. After the 1972 season, however, his partying led him to getting arrested, going missing from training for months, and briefly retiring twice, before playing his final match for Manchester United on New Year's Day in 1974. Over the next decade, Best would play for several clubs in the UK and around the world in South Africa, Hong Kong, Australia, and the United States. July 22, 1981. The San Jose Earthquakes are down 2-0 against the Fort Lauderdale Strikers in the second half of a match at Spartan Stadium in San Jose. A 35-year-old George Best is in the twilight of his career and on loan at San Jose. After getting the ball outside the box, he dekes the entire Fort Lauderdale back line to score a goal that the television commentators called the greatest soccer goal they have ever seen. At an end-of-the-season banquet, a newly sober Best receives the Goal of the Year award sponsored by Budweiser. That night, he gets drunk for the first time in 11 months and ends up going on a month-long drinking binge. After retiring in 1984, Best remained in the public eye. His continued struggle with alcoholism made him a constant subject of the tabloids. His battle with the disease led him to receiving a liver transplant in 2002. In 2005, George Best died from complications caused by immunosuppressive drugs he took after the transplant. He was 59 years old. Today, a popular debate amongst football fans is who is the greatest player of all time. It's a spirited debate that has no definitive answer. Yet George Best remains a name seldom mentioned in the modern era. This may be due to his short prime or his personal life overshadowing his professional achievements. But many of his peers and those that followed have given testimonials that make a compelling argument for his inclusion in the conversation. Pele said, "George Best until today is a footballer without comparison. and his technical skills will never be forgotten. Maradona, a player who had similar struggles as George Best, said, "George inspired me when I was young. He was flamboyant and exciting and able to inspire his teammates. I actually think we were very similar players, dribblers who were able to create moments of magic." And legendary Manchester United coach Sir Alex Ferguson said, "George was unique, the greatest talent our football ever produced easily. In a world where every moment is documented, the modern athlete has to watch every move they make and make sure that they remain a role model for those who look up to them. For George Best, he was the first of his kind. A once-in-a-generation talent who was able to enjoy the perks of success, but fell victim to the demons that plagued him while the world both celebrated and chastised him for his behavior."